Thrive Talk. Real candid conversations about what it takes to live, work, and play on your own Thrive Talk. I literally jump for joy to both inspire and energize you to act on your own creative endeavors. Together, let's have a blast and Thrive Talk. Thrive Talk. Thrive Talk. I just love Thrive Talk.
All right, we are rolling.
All right, am I good? Am I good? Am I good? How am I doing? Am I all right?
You are great.
Woo.
We are back again for episode, holy crap, 5.
Okay, so can I tell you something real quick, Sam?
Yes.
We are now one episode further than I got the last time I tried to do a podcast. We're over the hump.
Milestone.
We
have done it.
We got to take those wins.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm very excited to be your producer slash.
Oh, man. I was thinking, what is it? I had this best one. Sheesh. What did I say?
Through the magic of editing, this is going to sound flawless. She's just going to come right out and say it. It's great.
Security blanket?
Hey, I'll take that. All right. So here we are, episode 5, the milestone episode, the one beyond episode, the soon to be greatest episode that you're going to just put on replay over and over again.
I hope so, because I'm really excited about what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So
I'm feeling it.
What are we talking about today?
You know, I got very inspired for today's topic, and it was kind of funny because remember last episode I had no idea.
No.
I was like, let's surprise him. AKA, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk.
We don't know what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
But I'm coaching a creative, and I checked in. I do the email or text check-ins with them, and I check in just to see, because it had been a while since we talked, and asked him, you know, what his wins were, where he might be feeling it. And he was straight out said, nah, if I'm feeling stuck, it's not getting paid for what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And that
been there.
That's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
And you described it in our little pre-game powwow, about, you know, creating boundaries for what it is we want to do, and get paid for, and why that is so important to establish and create this like definition of what we want to be doing and exactly what we want to be doing and how we personally want to do it.
It's not an easy thing to do, because you go into it with this idea that, oh, I want to do something within this space. And I think we talked about this in our past episodes of saying you start comparing yourself to what everybody is doing outwardly. So you start seeing the final product of what other people have done, and you assume that that's what you need to do.
Right.
And so you immediately gravitate to that. So I don't even know where to begin to try to figure out.
Well, the first thing that it took me a long time to understand this, because there isn't a 1, 2, 3 step process to defining this.
Unfortunately.
It has to happen organically, which the best things, in my opinion, do happen organically. And yeah, a lot like you and I.
Kind of like this. Yeah.
I'll admit to that 100%. But it was where I started realizing when I was working on something, the distress level I felt, or when I was working on something, the elation that I felt, which is one of the main reasons on my priority checklist tear sheets that you can get for free off my website, that rating of how that task makes you feel is very important. Now, I know when we're first starting out, tasks that we do that we need to do to start the business, keep the business going, start evolving the business, whatever you need to do, you might not be able to afford, if it makes you in distress, you might not be able to afford somebody to come in and do it. So you have to find some balances. But when we're actually providing, especially when we're service-orientated entrepreneurs, you have to, and the service that we're providing, like for me, photography, I mean, it could be therapists, anything, graphic designers, web designers.
That's me.
Right. Podcast producers.
That's me too.
Right? Like you have certain values. That's why core values are very important to define as guideposts to what you say yes or no to, because it's an immediate help, right? So when you are moving through and first starting out, you need to, as the talent that is producing the craft or the service, you need to really take note about what is bringing you joy and excitement in your successes and what is distressing you. Because it matters.
Yeah. I wanted to share something with you that I literally learned yesterday, and it reminded me so much of you and your process. And so I think it's a great reinforcement. So the person that I was speaking to was a sales professional, and I was seeking her counsel because I am in the process of trying to sell a thing, and I don't know how to do sales. I'm not a salesperson. I've never done it before. And so she gave me some tips. And one of the things she said, the first thing that you should do in her mind when you're trying to do sales is to create an ideal customer spreadsheet. And she's like, I like to use a spreadsheet. So it's kind of like the tear sheets that you were talking. That's what reminded me of it. But she said, make columns for not only your ideal customer, but your nightmare customer as well. And so like finding all the different boundaries, just like you're talking about now, of what makes an ideal person to try to sell to versus somebody that you definitely want to avoid.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love the spreadsheet idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell people how to do it. I love to make suggestions, but I've also realized some of the suggestions that I might make might be the roadblock or distraction or, keep somebody from actually doing it. So all I say, and I know I have to be vague about it for, it's
privacy's sake.
Well, privacy's sake, but also vague in how you do it. Because
okay.
you have to find that way that you resonate with most. That is one of my biggest things going into coaching people, is that you have to find the way it works for you. And I'm not going to be the one to tell you exactly how you do it unless you ask me.
Right.
And I'm bean spiller 100%.
Seriously, for sure.
But I was telling him, you need to acknowledge it and celebrate it when it is a success. So like, for instance, like one of my things with portraits, I'm very fast and efficient at creating images very efficiently and quickly.
Yeah.
I don't need an hour and a half and a long drawn out portrait session for families, both kids and dads. And really, if I get down to it, moms, we none of us really like those like that.
Time.
Well,
Yeah.
my clients, some do.
Yeah.
So that was very important to me. So when I come out of an exciting or a great session in my book, knowing I got all the pictures I needed, had a great relationship with the clients and relatable time together, cultivating a relationship, photographing them over the years, talking about past stuff, like, that is a definite win.
Yeah.
I'm in my car saying how much I love my life. I've taken note about all those little aspects that led into a successful portrait for me session. And then, and then I celebrate it, but I also take note when I feel the angst or when I feel the frustration of something not necessarily going, like not really being the client that I wanted to photograph. Mm-hmm. I still do that today. Yeah. It's kind of like a reminder too. So, but I make it very situational so that I can acknowledge what it is I do and don't like. Mm-hmm. And that spreadsheet is something you can actually visually see. Mm-hmm. My week at a glance tear sheets are columns, so you don't have to use them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. You could use them as columns that you're making those things for. And you go for and acknowledge and celebrate and want to do more of those things, all the little aspects that make your craft or talent a success for you.
Yeah.
So, because you even have to sometimes push away the validation that you receive from the client,
Oh,
because I can produce good photographs,
yeah.
and even though they gave me grand accolades,
Right.
I might not have enjoyed the session as much as they did.
Yeah.
And
No, I get
as
that.
and
Yeah.
as I mean, now don't get me wrong, when I was first starting out, I considered doing the sessions, the assignments that I didn't necessarily love,
Okay.
as supplemental income.
Right.
Because it was still within the same industry of the craft that I was pursuing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would much rather be photographing something that I didn't quite enjoy doing, like it wasn't my target of what I wanted to be as a sustainable career.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd also didn't want to go and keep bartending
Right.
because of that
right.
energy suck kind
Right.
of thing. So
Right.
there's a lot of layers to saying yes and no to things and understanding what you want to say yes and no to. But it's all about, forgiveness or being kind to yourself when it doesn't quite go as planned,
And documenting.
and documenting it.
I think
acknowledging it,
acknowledging
documenting it.
Yeah. I think the documenting part that really makes a lot of sense to me too is even going back to like the corporate world where, you would have your annual reviews, right? And that's one thing I think that creatives or entrepreneurs may miss out on, that process, because they don't do it for themselves. But, that annual review, you really shouldn't prepare for the day before you're about to have it. You're supposed to do that year round. You're supposed to take notes of your wins. You're supposed to take notes of your, hardships. You're supposed to document like not necessarily every day, but I mean, at least keep up with the things that worked, the things that didn't work, the projects you were involved with that were successful, so that way when your annual review came around, you had something to really say, I did this, and this. It's the same thing as an entrepreneur. And it's the same thing that you're basically talking about with this process where, you're basically doing a post-mortem on each session and saying, well, this was good, this wasn't. I don't know about this type of client, or I don't know about this type of job.
Making the notes. What did I not like about? What did I love?
Right.
And my thing is, and one thing I made clear in this conversation with the creative that I am coaching is all while getting paid to do it.
Yes.
Legit, you do not sacrifice your value or compensation because you're still trying to figure things out.
Right. Yeah.
And I just will say it over and over again. I think we've already said it in this season already, is the fact that you are passionate about something, even if it's the something that doesn't really elate you and what you really want to be doing. You're not quite there at your target market or target craft talent goal. That the passion that you have for pursuing this is worth way more.
Yeah. Passion doesn't mean pay me less.
Nope. It actually means pay you more.
In fact, can you just say that every episode? I think we need to hear that on repeat over and oh my God, that sounds like a good affirmation. Maybe we should mention that to somebody.
Hell yeah. I'm really excited about these affirmations. Yes.
I am too.
Cindy, take note.
Note.
Passion. Cindy. Yeah. Passion means you should be paid more for your craft, talents, and services.
Yeah. That needs to be on loop in your brain over and over again, because it's something that until I heard you say it, I had never thought about before. And
it's as valuable as education and developing skill sets.
Yeah.
As a person that is self-employed, freelance, as an entrepreneur, you need to develop skill sets that aren't always exactly what you need to be doing.
Right.
For example, like invoicing and bookkeeping.
The person I was talking to yesterday actually we talked about invoicing, because that's something that's my jam. I love invoicing. I found FreshBooks. If you would like to sponsor this episode, come see me. I use FreshBooks, and
you're not made for sales.
I'm still learning. But no,
quickly.
FreshBooks, I really love it because, and I latched onto it immediately because I love the time tracking feature where I'm able to keep up with every single thing. And it's doing the same process basically of like accountability. I'm able to like go through and make notes on different projects and things like that. But the point was to say that she was saying invoicing is her nightmare. She hates invoicing. She's really bad at it. And she will wait so long that she's actually had issues with clients before coming back and saying, legally, we don't have to pay you for this because you took so long to get us the invoice.
Well, I never knew that.
Yeah. So
wow.
Well, I never knew that either because I don't wait. I mean, look, I'm like project done, invoice sent, done, like
I never knew that there was a timeline like that.
There's a little bit of
we always learning something new around here.
It's always contract dependent. It's always going to be dependent on the terms that you set forth with the, party at the beginning. So, I mean, that's probably a contract specific type situation, but still the point being that she almost lost out on a big chunk of money because of, putting off doing the thing that she didn't love. Whereas like, if you don't love that thing that much, maybe you need to identify that as a pain point and say, perhaps I need to hire an accountant. Perhaps I need to hire somebody to do that.
It's obviously going to make money.
It's obviously going to
I'm
be
gonna tell you,
a big problem for you.
My office manager, she is also does the invoicing and follows up with people, gets people to pay before the job is done or the product is delivered. Best thing it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing to pay. Every time I write,
you could also say that as an affirmation,
yes.
And put that in, because paying the people that are going to help you, to go back to episode 1 where we started this whole thing, paying the people that are going to help you achieve your success. I mean,
absolutely
worth every penny,
worth it and more. Like, and we should have an episode on that, like how to, and maybe this might be in a different season, but I definitely want to go back. I'm going to write this down. Just paying out the flow, the circle, the law of circulation.
Yeah.
It is so valuable.
Totally.
Okay, we're kind of getting off topic. Are we done with this topic?
I think we have cleared up this topic. I think we are ready to close the books on this one.
Yeah.
Do we have? Are we? Well, let's just leave it as a surprise for our next episode because it was worked out so well this time. So we'll leave next episode for a surprise. For now, we will say thank you for coming along on this journey with us.
And I want a quick recap that just to acknowledge when you are working with somebody, acknowledge the feelings that you have, because that is the most validating resource that you have, even beyond what other people perceive of you, whether it's true or not, because we're always trying to figure out what other people's perceptions are. So you're not adhering to other people's perceptions or what you think their perceptions are or their worth or value that they're blaming onto you. But this will also, in doing this, establishing a target market through experiencing what it is, your craft, through different avenues or different ways or whatever that talent or service is, also leads into your confidence in what you charge.
That's it right there.
It really is. And that's all what we're building on, is bringing in, and pretty sure pricing will probably be the final episode of this season.
Yeah. And it's so funny because everybody wants to start with that question, but that's really not the starting point. That's the end point. That's where you want to get to after you do all
and
this
we're
work.
Getting there. I promise you, people.
Stay with us.
Sam will not have it any other way.
That's
all
good.
right.
But next episode will be, that's 6. I was going to say, is it the penultimate episode?
penultimate.
I love that word.
What does that word mean?
That means the one before the final one.
Nope, that's not on. That's not. No, we're doing 8.
I know. So
8 is great.
8 is great. So we're not there yet, but we're
getting
fast approaching
close.
the penultimate episode.
With the one before the one.
Penultimate. It's just a fun word to say.
I am learning so much in this episode.
All right. That means it's time to go. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time. And Jen, what do you got to say?
Oh, God, I love my life. And I really hope y'all are out there enjoying it, too.
Awesome. See y'all soon.
Peace.
The music you hear was created by Cindy Wonderful. To access free resources, log on to Jen Oken's website at JENNOCKEN.com. If you found value from this episode, tell a friend. And if you have a moment, leave us a review. Tell us what you think.